Hello, this is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Today I want to show you the initial checkout of what's known as a Majesty telephone, and this is the upper portion of the Majesty telephone, and this is Tony's telephone from Texas. And we just had recently finished up a 202 and bell box for Tony. So now we're on his brass Majesty telephone. And we have it all apart because basically it was all loose anyway. And so there was a lot of issues at the top of the telephone where our cradle is for the hook switch. And so we want to go through this telephone and make sure everything is working. We want to go through the handset. It kind of gives you a look at that. Make sure that's all going to be proper. And go through the main PC board, which would be the network. Now, one issue we know for sure is if you look at the switch, and I'm not sure if the video is picking that up, but the switch is actually broke. There would be a little bracket coming out here, a piece of linkage, and when the cradle went down, it would push the hook switch in. The switch is actually broke, and it's not going to work, so it will not hang up if we get any dial tone at all. We just are not at that point yet, and we want to do some more checks. And so we're in a process of doing all of our checks now, and we'll be troubleshooting. Most of these telephones were rotary, so this is a touch tone, and so that's kind of a little more sought after. The rotary telephones were nice, but there was fewer touch tones of these, and so a lot of people will collect them and try to get the touch tone, and it's easier to get the rotary telephone than it is the touch tone. So these are really cool telephones. A lot of people like them. They stand about 4 feet tall or so, and we need to get this one squared away for Tony so he can start using it and putting it all back together again. So we're going to take a short break from the video. We want to definitely repair this switch, and we want to make sure that everything else is working. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and so now what we have here is we have another hook switch, and so basically it's a little different. It has to have these mounting screws on this side of the switch. So basically what happens is this switch does not have that. So now we have to change the switch a little bit. So what we're going to do is go ahead and remove. Not only that, this switch, when you would push it in, if you pushed it in, it would return. This switch is on. You got to hit it again for off. So what we want to do here is we want to change this switch. First, we're going to have to take the bracket off, and we'll remove that. So that slides the bracket off. So basically what we had to do is drill holes in it. Now, when we took it apart, we also removed the catch. And this is the part that catches the switch and makes it lock down, and then push it again, and then it unlocks. And so basically we need a switch that pushes in and then releases. So we don't want a catch in our switch. So that was removed. So now what we need to do is we need to put our switch back together again. So we can go ahead and take the plunger and make sure that it's going to fit there, because you have all kinds of little pieces here on the slide that make our connection, and we don't want to ruin them. So we want to put our spring back on, and I'm going to go ahead and hold the spring, and then I want to make sure that we're in the position that we can slide our plunger back into our switch, but yet not damage the little swipes. So that puts it back together again, and now our plunger is working properly. So now what we have to do is we have to reinstall our mount. Push that back into place so that our plunger doesn't come out too far. And I want to go ahead and bend over our keepers. And so now our switch is finished up. But we've got a couple more things to do because we're going to have to adjust this switch. It's probably has too much length on it. So we'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to test our switch before we put it back into our bracket, and that way we'll know that the switch is working and that it's good, because we did have it apart and we need to know that the swipes are making their contacts. So I'm going to go ahead and take, if you watch that meter back there, every time you hear that beep, that's a continuity check. So what I want to do is I want to check these the switch. Now if I push it down, the continuity goes away. When I let go of it, we have continuity. I want to make sure I have continuity on both sides of the switch. Push it down. Let it up. We have continuity. Now I need to check the continuity of the switch when it's engaged, when it's down, because they usually put the ring circuit on that end of the switch. That's why you have the 3 wires going to the old switch. Okay. So we want to move that out of the way. We want to check this now. Okay, we have it on the connections, and I have to push the switch down. We should get a reading. And we do. I want to check the other side of the switch. Even though you only use one side, I want to make sure both sides are working, because you never know. If one side wasn't working, you could use the other. I want to go ahead and check continuity. It's there. I'm going to release the switch. We'll check continuity on the top. It's there. Check the other side. It's there. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to clean. We're just going to pick a side. We want to clean our contacts where we're going to solder. Might as well clean them all at the same time. Get the switch in a position where we can start soldering our lines on. Make sure that holds there so we can work on it. Clean our soldering gun. We want to start removing our lines here. Probably best to do this one at a time. Make sure we tin our switch. take our second one off, which would be in the middle. Now we can tend the middle one on our new switch. Now we'll tend the last one. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to take the line cord, move some of these lights out of the way, plug it in, seize the analyzer. You see that red light? It sees the analyzer, so that red light's going to go out and you're going to hear the analyzer click when I hang up. I'm going to let it go. Hang up. I'm going to let it go and it should seize the analyzer. You'll see it. Just out of curiosity, I know the bell's laying on the downside, but we can go ahead and ring it. It's going to be muffled a little bit because we're laying the network on it. In the ring cycle, I'm going to release this switch. We know that it's working now. Okay, so that switch is going to be ready to be mounted back into our cradle where it comes down. And if you notice, when we put this switch back in, it's too long, if you can see that. So now we're going to have to adjust it. So we know that our cradle is coming down like that, so I want to pull it out maximum all the way. We know somewhere in this area that we need to cut the plunger down a little. So we'll take a short break and start on that and get some more video here as we move forward. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back now, and so we are still in the middle of repairing this Majesty telephone. And so basically what we've done here, after we finished up the hook switch, we went and troubleshooted some more of the telephone and found that the handset cord that was on this telephone, and this is the old one, was no good. So we're going to set that to the side. We have reinstalled another handset cord, and this time basically what we've done is taken a modular handset port and installed that to the network. And I'm going to go ahead and plug the telephone in at the analyzer. It's going to seize the line, but since our handset is not plugged in yet, you won't hear any dial tone. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I want to go ahead and plug that in and give you some dial tone. Now the other issue is this uses, and I'm going to go ahead and unplug the telephone real quick because we don't need it activated right now. This has the old style T1 in them. And if you know anything about telephones, you'll know that T1s are very noisy. Anytime you shake them, because they have some age on them now, and they go bad. And basically what you'll hear in the receiver is like rushing air, a static sensation sound, and just simply shaking them, you'll hear all that static in the receiver. Now, in the old days, they used to kind of pop the receiver in your hand like that, or blow into it real hard and try to set the carbon granules that are inside these T1s. And I'm going to show you this T1 here. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. And for a long time, I've been looking to get some time to build a circuit that has an electret mic that I can replace these T1s with, because these T1s are getting hard to find. And in some circuits and some telephones, even when the T1 is brand new old stock, or brand new, because you have to get new old stock nowadays of these, basically what happens is, in some circuits, like the circuit that we're dealing with here in this Majesty telephone, they can all be noisy, just because of the simple fact it's the way it's wired. So what we've done here is I have come up with a prototype. We're going to set this to the side, of an electric mic, and this is the circuit. And we'll basically take and put this on a piece of cardboard, and then we'll install it. So we'll tuck it down inside here. But this gives you a look at the prototype, basically. So when this is shook or moved around, there's no graphite granules in there, or carbon granules. So it's not going to have that open air noise or static sensation, or just plain static, or the sound of moving carbon in there. So that's a good thing, and that's what we're going to start using here at the shop. Instead of putting in T1s or replacing these T1s, we're just going to go to the electric mic and take care of it that way, and do away with the T1s altogether. There's no need for them. They don't have the quality that this microphone will have. So what we want to do is, I'll show you what I'm talking about, give you some dial tone. Hear that static? When you shake it, I want to take dial tone away. Hear that static sensation? So these are very noisy, is basically what I'm trying to show you. And we're just going to get rid of that altogether. There's no sense in messing with the carbon T1s any longer. And so now that we have designed our circuit out, and we know how we want to build it and design it, it's finished up basically. So what I can do in a sense here is I can say goodbye to this, and we will no longer have to mess with that. And we'll go ahead and strip some of our wire off, our coating. Because there's a bridge rectifier, and it will always have proper polarity no matter what. So now that's connected up. What I want to go ahead and do is solder this real quick. Just trying to find a place where we can get that to stay still a little bit so we can get some solder on it. I want to clean the soldering gun. Let that cool down for a second. Now, like I said earlier, we're going to take and stabilize this. Probably take a piece of cardboard and make sure that we have a hole in it big enough for the microphone element, and we'll go ahead and tuck this unit in, and it'll be secure at that point. But for now, what we can do is I can take and bend this the way we need it bent. And just for a test, we'll tuck it down into the handset real quick here. I'm going to go ahead and plug in the unit, give you some dial tone, but I want to take away dial tone by dialing a 2, and then I'm going to transmit into this handset. When I transmit into this handset, I want you to watch this red light here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Every time you see that red light is an indication of 100% modulation on transmit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hello, hello. So we can basically, we'll hang up, give you some dial tone. I want to dial a 2, and I want to shake this one around. You're not going to hear anything, because there's no static coming from this like you'll get in these older style T1s, because they have carbon in them. You could shake this handset all day long, it's not going to make a difference. The only thing you might hear is the wire hitting the handset here. So we know that will take care of the problem with the noise and the static sensation. Basically, what we're going to do is take everything and put it all back together again, and then get some more video of our final checks with this telephone. So we'll be right back. Okay, we're back now, and we're finished up with the repair of this telephone. We're going to kind of run through a little bit about what went on with this telephone. The hook switch was replaced. The handset cord was replaced. We also went through the keypad and cleaned the board and the keypad itself. And also, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the microphone, the transmitter now. And so we got rid of the T1, and we have a new circuit design that we're going to start working with that is an electric mic, and we will no longer have to mess with the T1s no more, because they're noisy, and a lot of times they go bad and they'll cause a lot of static in the telephones. So we'll just go to this situation from now on and start building our electronic circuit. So now I want to put my cap on here. We'll go ahead and plug the telephone in, and we can start doing our final checks. I want to ring this telephone. Now the bell is inside, and they stand about 4 foot tall or so. So when they're all screwed together, you're not going to get a real loud ring out of these telephones, because the bell doesn't have any way for the sound to come out really, so it's kind of trapped. But we're going to go ahead and ring it. So they're not like have a super loud ring on them. I'll let it go one more time. Give you some dial tone. I want to dial a 2, and I want to transmit into the handset. So if you watch this red light on the analyzer, that's an indication of 100% modulation on transmit every time you see that red light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hello, hello. So if you see how bright that is, the quality of the transmit and the gain will be so much better than what the T1 was producing. So now what we want to do is, if I push this button on my switch box, it totally takes the analyzer out of the situation and I can get a line out. So we're going to go ahead and call a time and temp. Give you some dial tone.
Good morning. When you need body work, we're a short drive away. Offenburg Body Center, 234-0330. Today is Monday, May 6th. The time is 1:16. Current temperature, 61 degrees. Now the Belleville area weather forecast. Mostly cloudy tonight, chance of rain, lows around 50. Monday, mostly cloudy, 20% chance of an afternoon shower and thunderstorm, highs around 70.
Okay. We can call one other number. We can call my number and it'll be busy. Give you some dial tone. So now that we know that this telephone has been repaired, we can return it to Tony and he can start enjoying it. These are really cool telephones. We get calls about them from time to time because you don't see these very often. It's a Majesty telephone and they're all brass and they're highly collectible. And we get calls about people wanting to repair them and even people looking for them because they're collecting them up. So it's just a great telephone, and you won't see very many of these, that's for sure. This is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.